as a person who's been not in this exact part of the world, but Qatar and Saudi Arabia, this landscape and the heat, woo! Woo. No, seriously. Been to Qatar, June, July. It's so humid, you will sweat within the first 30 seconds. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's a reason why a lot of Qatarians don't work, and a lot of people from the Philippines work in that country. Anyway, Chase Yaki here with the Blue Futon talking about Kandahar. Yes, I know Kandahar and Qatar are very different, but I'm just saying in general. Anyway, what's this movie about? Pretty simple premise, actually. Gerard, Butler, is an MI6 agent kind of working for the CIA, and they want to destroy a nuclear test site, if you want to put it that way, in Iran. However, now, cover blown. Now you have a reporter. Now you have the Pakistanis. Now you have the Taliban. Now you have ISIS-K. Now you have the Americans. You have the UK. You have the Russians. You have the Chinese. Even though they're not part of the big picture, they are talked about as a whole with this geopolitical action thriller. Like I said, it's geopolitical first, then the action thriller part second. So do I like this film? Absolutely. Yeah, some people might be like a little bit bored with this movie because they're expecting a non-stop Gerard Butler action set piece, kind of like Plane, or Angel Has Fallen, or Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen. However, like I said, this is more of a geopolitical thriller of what it is in the Iran, Afghan, Pakistan region, and what are these different, the Taliban, ISIS-K, other organizations in the region, the Afghan commandos, the UK, everyone else who is in the region. What are they trying to do to shape the region to how they want it to be? And what is Afghanistan before and after the Americans leaving? And let's just say the administration's like, oh, we hope the Taliban will be a diverse, organization. Are you fucking stupid? Anyway, positives. I think the realism here really shows. Yes, it might not be like, oh, complete realism, but just the attention to detail of not making it bombastic, of making it kind of a down-to-earth, and putting all these geopolitical people in this show. Because like I said, you have a reporter, the Pentagon, Pakistan, Taliban, ISIS-K, just all these different organizations of how they really don't care, because this region has been in war since God knows when, since the Bible was written. Always been war, always has been, and I think that's what this message is trying to say is you're always going to have conflict, even like with Afghanistan. Oh, now Russia, Ukraine. Oh, did you know there's always been wars in Africa? There's like miniature wars happening in South America, but no one knows about it. So I think that's what the whole point where Gerard Butler says there's modern wars, and modern wars are never supposed to stop. That's very true, just because there's always going to be conflict. And everyone's like, oh, there's be peace all over the world. There will never be peace. Never. Yes, you could look at geopolitical aspects happening right now with Saudi Arabia, Iran, the whole BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Which, will that go far? I don't know. And then you have Belarus against Ukraine. Belarus team up with Russia. Then you have, of course, North Korea and Russia. Then you have China and Russia. Then you have Japan. Just the whole geopolitical part of just that whole part of the world isn't as pretty as what a lot of people think it is. So when this movie goes that far and kind of puts the different players into this movie, it makes it more fun and enjoyable of not just being a by the books action thriller type of movie. I really liked how they put all these different characters into this film. And of course, they try to add this extra translator character into it, which I think shines with what they're trying to do with this film. When the action is there, it's really good. There's an awesome nighttime sequence, second act action sequence with the helicopter. Really, really smart, really fun, and it's really, really just awesome. Like, you don't see a lot of movies like that with the whole black and white night vision goggles type of action set pieces. And when they decided to do it, this one, it's really, really good looking. At the very end, too, you do have the nice little, standoff type of action sequence. And it's really, really just fun to watch. And it makes me think, because like I said, I've been in the region when the whole Operation Ally Welcome was happening. And yeah, people don't know a lot of stuff. People like say, oh, the media must be telling the truth. When like in Africa when I was there in 2016 and then there in 2021. not a lot of people know the truth of what is happening out there. So that's a little bit of a bummer where people are like, oh, it must be this because the media says so. Nah, bitches, they're lying. So if I had to tell a negative about this show, I could say, did it have to be 2 hours? Nah. There's some parts where it does drag, and sometimes they are adding a little bit too many players. But it's like, yeah, you add those too many players, but is it realistic? I don't know, because there were some organizations in this movie I never even heard of. So I was like, okay, that's very interesting. And like I said, expect it to be a geopolitical thriller, not an action thriller. So to me, that was a sigh of relief, where I was like, okay, I'm watching something a little bit different than normal. So yeah, it's a fun little movie. It does make me think, though, would they let white people like that, like Gerard, Butler, and the other guy into the country of Iran in the first place? I was a little bit like, I don't know if I really believe that whatsoever. So, I mean, yeah, overall, Kandahar, strong movie. I enjoyed it. Out of the 5 movies that came out this weekend, Kandahar is number 2. I do think You Hurt My Feelings is number 1, but it's really like apples and orangutans, how you're comparing that comedy to this action thriller, but they're both. If you guys see 2 movies this weekend, it's Kandahar and You Hurt My Feelings. So Kandahar will receive a 4 out of 5 Futons, which equals at 80%. So let's see the critics and user scores gave this one. So you have critics a 47% with 66 of them, audience score, and 80% with over 100. Here's critic consensus. Gerard Butler remains a sturdy screen presence, but even for hardcore action fans, Kandahar is hardly worth watching. See, that's the thing. This is not an action movie. It's a geopolitical thriller. 47 are the 80s. Chase Talk with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't know if these Blue Futon told you. Blue Futon, think about a freaking fantastic day. I don't care watch this today, tomorrow, a week from now, a year from now. I love every single freaking one of you. And yes, go in. Maybe it's the trailer's fault. I'm going to give it the trailer's fault, but something refreshing, and I really enjoyed that.